I met Ken at a pig roast, and when he called and asked me out a week later, I said yes, but when he knocked on the door, I was expecting some blonde guy that I remember from the pig roast and not Ken. So our first date did not go so well. It must have worked because our second date, I remember we stayed up till 3 a.m. and debated the 1980 Farm Bill. That was the day I knew he could keep up.
Who won that debate, Ken?
I think the same person that's won every debate we've had since then, so yeah. We raised a little bit of money on our own, each of us. My parents didn't have anything substantial at that point, and we borrowed $3,500 from my grandparents. We bought 40 acres of ground, but then land prices went through the roof. When I was 18, that year, we took the money that we made from buying and selling land at a very young age. We bought 50% interest legitimately in our parents' 135 sow operation. And that was kind of the beginnings of the growth of the pork business.
I think we followed in the footsteps of a lot of other leaders in that at a young age, we started becoming active in our County Pork Producer Association, serving as officers there, then being on state committees and finally being on a state board.
Julie was the county queen and the Illinois State Pork Industry Queen, and then went on to become the National Pork Industry Queen. And the year that she was the national queen, I was just moving from vice president to president of our local pork producer organizations. Farm and Ranch magazine decided to do the first ever national Miss Agriculture competition. The event is held in Chicago, and I go and I'm crossing my fingers hoping that she'll be first or second runner-up and she wins. So she can't be Mrs. Agriculture. Yep. So we put our wedding back a year while she was Miss Agriculture.
And so I spent a tremendous amount of time going to different towns and cities and was able to share those stories with people who had no idea how the milk got on their table, how the bacon showed up at breakfast.
Julie has been a tremendous asset to our business and our growth because of her ability to communicate so well. But then beyond that, as you look at the advocacy for agriculture and for the pork industry, Julie was in DC a lot and in our state capitals where we operated once we moved from Illinois to Iowa to Oklahoma.
One of the things Ken has been so instrumental in the pork industry has been building coalitions within our industry to make sure that we have adequate funding for our strategic investment programs, making sure we have people that understand why we have a national checkoff program to support our research and promotional work.
Once we grew the pork business to a point where we said we need to diversify, we bought a company, a large poultry company that had about 1,800 employees. So we were over 3,000 employees directly involved in agriculture. There was a lot of sleepless nights knowing how many people were really dependent upon some of the decisions that you would make at the highest level.
I think starting out, people might be surprised how much we lived on Diet Coke and Malanta. When you start off as small as we did and you are so used to doing every aspect of the job needed, it does keep you grounded. We get up every morning and think about who's taking care of our pigs today. We appreciate and trust and respect those people that are taking care of those pigs today because we know what each one has to do because we've done it ourselves. No day is predictable and no day is the same.
No day is boring.
Some days are boring when I'm by myself, but when I'm with Ken, no day is boring.